Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. And today we're just going to do a quick rundown of my favorite highlighters. So they're sort of ranked. There are some that are tied, but we're going to go through my favorite highlighters, powders, and cream products. And we're going to start off with something that I have to include because it's a favorite of mine, but it's not available for purchase anymore. This is my favorite highlighting palette. It is the Guerlain Meteorites Pearl Dust palette. I have actually used this a ton, but you can't really tell too much. Like in person, you can see that it's indented, but a little of this goes a long way. So if they bring this back, I highly recommend it. And if you got it, I hope you love it as much as I do. But these are the three shades. I love mixing and matching them. I mean, you've got things that like the pink is way more subtle on my skin compared to this like white gold. You've got that peachy shade. Mixing these is great. If you put them on with a fan brush, it's a very light, a light brightening. And if you use something more dense, like for example, the Detail Pro from Sonia G, you're gonna get something more intense like the actual swatches. So absolutely love it. Now, aside from that, my favorite highlight is actually this from Chanel. It's the Chanel Duo de Camellia or Duo de Camellia. And it has two shades. Actually, let me show you it mixed also. And I usually wear it mixed, which is this third finger here. But again, I love this for the same reason as the highlighting palette, how you can mix and match them and make it subtle or more intense. I just love the luminosity and shimmer of this. And I feel like the gold's not too yellow, the silver is not too cool, and it works really well for most people. This is technically a limited edition product, and it comes and goes on the Chanel US site. So if you don't have it and you're interested in it, take a look, but I have not seen it at retailers. It's only on Chanel.com. My next favorite is from Givenchy. This is the Teint Couture Shimmer Powder in 01 Shimmery Pink. They do have two shades of this. I have not tried the other one. The other one's a gold, I think. But this is just like a light, it's kind of like a peachy pink almost, there's a little bit of warmth to it. It's not too cool, but it's subtle, or I can build it up to make it more intense on my skin. And I just think that this color in particular is really good for my complexion, and I love the actual texture of it. It's very comparable to the texture of these, and yeah, it's a go-to for me. Next, this one is technically limited edition as well, but Cle de Peau does have similar shades in their permanent collection. I have not tried those. But this is from this year's holiday. This is 102, A Glow with Wonder. And I mean, it's just a really beautiful shade. And I like to put this on, again, this one's going to be more subtle. And you can see that this one's going to be warmer a little bit. It's more like peachy with a touch of gold. And it warms me up without looking like too unnatural. So I really love this particular shade, and it has become a favorite. Moving on, we have one that I personally love for every day. Excuse the plastic on here. I have been working on moving my Surratt collection over to the Pro palette, which it's a magnetized palette with a clear lid, so I can see everything. And I did have a couple accidents with a few of these. That was my fault. But this here, by the way, Surratt products, they're not magnetized. I just buy the magnetic stickers and glue them on. So this is the shade Oriole. And this is like the perfect subtle everyday highlighter for me. And it's really gorgeous. Now, Surratt also has I forget what they call it right now, maybe Highlight and Sculpt or something like that, but they have a palette that has this shade, the Grisaille contour shade, which I love, and then I think it's Duchess, which is this. Here, let me show you. This is actually new to me. I haven't really worn it much. This is Duchess, which you can see is another subtle peachy pink highlight. And then here's Grisaille, the contour, so you can just kind of see. But anyway, they do have a palette with these three together, and I think it's a fantastic option. If I didn't already have them as singles, I would have picked them up as a palette. So Oriole in particular is like just a fantastic everyday highlight. I think it's the most natural looking highlight that I have. Although it looks white on the skin, it really kind of blends out beautifully and gives you just like a hint of highlight. And then moving on, the Givenchy Holiday Highlighter. This is loose powder. I mix all of the shades together and I like to just decant some into the lid, and I use a fan brush because this is going to be more intense. Sometimes if I want like more of a glow in my cheeks, I'll use something like this, which has more of that candlestick shape. This is the Chikuhodo KZ3 brush, and I'll lightly put that on there and then kind of dust it on top of the blush. So you can see that this one can be pretty intense. That's just a little bit of the powder. So I go in with a light hand, but I just think it is gorgeous. And I do like how you've got, there are actually only 2 different shades in here, but you can kind of mix and match them if you choose. I just think it's easier to mix them together. Following that, these 2 are tied. This is the Makeup by Mario Opal Highlight and the Chantecaille Pearl Lumiere from this year. So the Makeup by Mario, I think this is like a super silky powder. You know, it really kind of took me by surprise. I used this a ton this summer, and you can see that it's actually like a white gold, but more white than gold. They have deeper shades that are a lot more yellow gold, but this particular shade I think is gorgeous. And I have it on today just with a light hand. I think it's great. And again, I'm really impressed with the texture because it feels very, very silky. The Chantecaille Pearl Lumiere from this year, this is a luminescent pink. It's a pale pink, but you can see that you've got a similar shine. You can see that the amount of sheen and shine is similar to the Makeup by Mario. That's probably why I ended up having them tied, but I really love both of them. So these are my favorite powder highlights, but I do have a couple cream ones that have made the list as well. So we have the Guerlain Terracotta in, this one is in Nude. I'll put this on my hand here. And I think this is gorgeous. It is a cream stick, and you can see that this can be very blinding. It blends out beautifully, very silky, not sticky at all. And I really like it, but slightly better, I actually do prefer these Surratt Torche Lumières. Just because they're a little bit less intense. So this one here is Diamante in the middle, and you can see that this is probably a little bit more sparkly, but it's also a little bit more sheer as well. So that's the shade Diamante, and I have to say I use that one the most, but I also use this one here, Rose Diamante, a lot. And let me just show you, if I put on a bunch, much more intense you can make that. So that one you can see is just a little bit of a cooler pink shade. So these are actually my favorites. I do have, you know, plenty of others that I love and I enjoy, but these are kind of like my all-time favorites. It was really hard to narrow these down just to this number. I tried to get to 5, but I really just couldn't quite cut off. So this is the best I could do, but I do hope this was helpful. I'd love to know what your favorite highlights are and what your favorite formula is. I love the way that cream highlights look, but I do tend to prefer powders. I just have, I don't know, I find it a little bit easier to blend out the powder versus the cream most of the time, except during the summer when, you know, things are melting a little bit more. But yeah, I think these are just amazing. And again, it's like, it's hard to pick an absolute favorite just because, you know, it depends on your look and the day and so forth. But these are definitely my tops. So if you're interested in any of these, I will leave the links in my shop list and down below in the description box. And I know some of them aren't currently available, but you know, I will do my best to leave all of the information down below. And please share with me what your favorite highlights are and if there's anything you think I should try or anything like that. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great day and stay safe and healthy.